What is up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Punch Club. My name is Splat. Very stoked to have you here today as we hang out for a little while and continue to become buffer. Our character's kind of ripped right now, but he's only got 2 strength. I wish that I existed in this world because then my diminutive and otherwise weak self could be yoked. I'd just be out there doing that chest thing where you like flick your boobs up and down like Terry Crews. Anyways, welcome on back. I don't know what we're going to work on today, but I can guarantee you it's going to be a lot of fun. We're at 2, 11, and 6, which means that our stats are coming around mighty fine. I'm pretty pleased with where they're at. I hadn't checked the fridge yet, so now would be the time to look. Oh, okay, so we got $431. Meat's looking okay, soda. All right, so we got to go restock. So let's go get ourselves. I'm going to start using the bus for a little while. It does add up over time, but I find that you do save a lot of time by using the bus. Typically, I don't use it till the end of the game, once I've got myself, like, into the championship and all that kind of thing. But I'm feeling a little bit, I don't know, I'm feeling a little bit ballery today, so I think we're going to throw some money around. Let's go check and see if we can do the next Ninja Turtle fight. And if we can't, we're going to have to deliver pizzas. So special pizza. We have so many orders. Let's talk later. All right, so we got to deliver pizzas for a little bit. Usually you have to deliver pizzas for like 2 rotations. It's not my favorite thing, but we got to get it done if we wanted to do the storyline. And I wanted to hit as many of the story tree apples as possible. That's what I call the little squares in the story tree. I call them apples just because it makes sense to me. I guess I could call them like pomegranates or whatever, but apples works. We'll go ahead and do 2 of these. It will stock us up with cash for a little while, which is the nice thing about this second half. It looks like Spice Pizza is pretty popular. Yeah, business is going pretty well. Someday I'll earn enough money to move to Cyprus. You want to try Spice Pizza? It's my treat. Yeah, it should be. Please don't juggle a knife while I'm standing right in front of you. It's a little nerve-wracking. Here it is. Take one. By the way, I have a special order which needs to be delivered. No problem, Casey. I'll take care of it. Seems like a good way to get a negative Yelp review. I'm here to face Mark and to kick his tail. You hear a scary noise. Like, that's a scary noise for me. Is it you who beat Bill? Yep, and it seems like you're gonna be next. You're my Mark, and you are a Mark. I'm not like my brother. Prepare for the pain. I think we should be able to take him all right. We got some karate moves. And we're doing pretty well at dodging people, so if he can't lay hands on us, he's gonna have an issue today. Although I have noticed, so over the... Oh, that 21 right there. All right, that was a pretty big hit. That was a little unpleasant. What we need to do is start reflecting damage back at him. With characters like this, basically what you want to do is you want to make it so that they kill themselves with your damage. And so there's going to be a number of abilities we're going to get later on in the game that allow us to either reflect damage, or, for example, let's say we get hit at the beginning of the round for 21 damage. Agility gets a move that makes it so that their next hit lands for whatever you got hit last for. And so if you get hit for 31, your next kick will land for 31 no matter what. And so it'll start evening. And I know it seems like the fights are taking a long time because we don't have a lot of strength, but we'll get a lot of utility abilities later on. And, you know, those utility abilities will not be killing me. They will be killing my foe. So I think it's going to be pretty sweet. Let's go ahead and keep kicking on this guy, and hopefully we can stab. That was 1 hit right there that he caught us with. So if we can't keep dodging him, as you can tell, we're pretty squishy. We don't have a whole lot of health. We don't have a whole lot of resources to soak blows because I think strength ties into your HP count. However, we are very, that would be one of those times where you'd want that ability where if he hits you, you get to hit him back for the same amount. 26 right there, big hit. He's got 40 stamina back. That's enough for him to put a big combo on us if he gets lucky. I don't know why our character's not throwing kicks while he's got the advantage, but I wish that he would. The only other problem that I see us running into is I would actually love to work my way into the strength tree and get Tormentor Strikes or Exhauster so that each of my blows that lands drains the amount of stamina that we deal damage for. It's particularly good for a strength character because if you hit for 42, they'll lose like 23 stamina. And so all it takes is like 3 hits and they'll be out of stamina before they even swing at you. Good. I wasn't prepared this time. You win. So we beat Mark. Come back later and fight our mightiest brother, Gabe.
Gabriel, come and fight me in the sewers.
That was weird. Alright, so we got that out of the way. We'd have to deliver pizzas for a little while longer if we wanted to do the next part of the chain, but I think we have to wait till we're a little bit further in the game to do it. I don't think we can do it right now. Oh no, we can do it right now. So full forward is kind of where we're at. There's a few things we haven't done yet. We haven't gone and talked to the steroid guy, but I think you can do that at any point in the game. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. I've never actually completed a run where I did every single thing in here. I haven't decided if we're going to do a criminal run yet or if we're going to do a clean run. I've beaten the game by not being a criminal, so I'll probably be a criminal this time around and see what happens there. But we're almost out of energy anyways, so let's go ahead and we need to sign up for our fight. I think we're probably up against Mr. Kokuse next. And from there, do I want to train? I guess we got to sleep. It's unfortunate. Let's go ahead and crash out on the couch for a little bit with the relaxing sound. That's when I was a kid. I had this little fish tank that was like 2 gallons. And for whatever reason, that little humming noise, it's got a little water recycler in there, and I don't even know what it's called. But anyway, it's like a little aerator. And so essentially, see the bubbles coming up right there? That's what it does. It kind of recycles the water around it. It makes it so oxygen is in the entire tank. Because if you leave it there without one, the oxygen will become situated towards the top of the water. You'll notice your fish will start hanging up at the top of the water all the time because there's not enough air. And so anyways, I had a fish tank when I was a kid. I've always been a big fish tank fan. I love aquariums. I love fish. They don't make like amazing pets in that they're not like a dog or like a cat where you can like form a bond with a fish. And I guess there's probably people out there who would argue with me about that. However, I just enjoy curating an aquarium. Is kind of an interesting experience because it takes a lot of care and a lot of attention, especially if you're doing like salt water. It's very much a zen experience where the water has to be perfect, the pH has to be just right, the temperature's got to be just right. Not just for fish in general, but for if you're doing a saltwater like an exotics tank, it's got to be the perfect temperature for the fish that you have in there. And so different varieties of fish all live inside of certain like tropic temperate zones. Some of them live in cold zones, things like that. And so it's just kind of interesting. I've always found it to be a fun little hobby. I do like aquariums. It's expensive though, so I don't do it anymore. When you screw up, it costs you a lot of money. Like if you mess up and kill off your fish, it can be both heartbreaking and expensive. So we're actually at a point right now where I think we'd be fine to advance the game. I think we could move forward without too many problems. We've got enough cash right now to where we can train basically until endgame. I think that I like what we've got going on. I think we're doing pretty well. I'd like to get a few more pieces of gym equipment, but honestly, the only thing that we're missing is the weight bench. And the weight bench is not that vital. In fact, it's not vital at all to our current build. And so I don't feel any call of nature. It's not like I don't feel any need to go and get the weight bench because we're never going to use it. It's just going to sit in here. You do get all the upgrades later on in the game for free. Once you advance your career, they'll give you a new house that has an entire mega gym inside of it that has your equipment, and it also has the combined equipment from like the gym here in town, and it's got a bunch of good stuff inside of it, and it makes your training a lot easier. That part of the game is a little bit grindy though. I haven't decided if I'm going to show the whole thing. I may actually just accelerate it just because that part of the game I wasn't super impressed with its execution. This is one of my favorite games of the year so far. I know the year's only been here for like 16 days, but I'm having a blast with the game. But like the last fifth of the game, the last like 20% of the game can get a little bit grindy. And so anyways, I haven't decided exactly how I want to approach that yet as we continue this series, but I'm having fun with it so far, so I think it'll be alright. I can go hit on Adrian. We also have not finished Fight Club, so we should probably finish Fight Club too. What are my skills costing right now? 20? I was going to say it's not lit up on here. It made me nervous for a minute. So what do we have on this side? We have Demoralize. All damage done by your opponent is reduced by 20%. Rice Eater 2. Do not fall down would be nice. I guess we have to take Do not fall down. I probably won't use it, but Strike modifier. Strikes ignore 40% of stamina-based protection. That might be useful as well. Rain of Strikes would also probably be useful. There's a lot of things in here that I think we probably want to use. And I haven't been that far into the tree for agility. This is actually kind of an interesting thing for me because I beat the game yesterday on stream with my strength build. And so I've played against a lot of agility builds, so I know what they have as part of their arsenal, but I've never played one yet. And so I know the things from the tree that I've seen as a strength fighter that terrify me. Like if I'm looking at their skills list, I recognize the icons and I'm just like, ah shit, this is gonna suck. We might not take them. However, Penetrating Strike seems pretty good. Mimic Techniques is the one that's an absolute just annihilator. Mimic Techniques is brutal. Cobra Strike. I don't think I'll probably run that. Control Fury. Kick Dropper. All damage you deal with leg-based strikes increases. Okay. Well, how about this? Let's go for Cutthroat right now. That'll get us into Demoralize. which is really going to help against strength characters because that 20% is going to bleed through. My strength character routinely hit for about 150 damage in a single combo, and so 20% of 150, you're reducing the damage by quite a lot. It probably still won't be enough to save us, but it'll still be a damage reduction, so there it is. There's probably some things up in here that I haven't seen too. I'm sorry, some things up in here that I could probably get my hands on. Putting strength up to 4 might be an okay idea, but even then that'll make my abilities really expensive, so I'm not totally sold on it just yet. Fine block. Long timer is also a smart way to go. Oh, I should have gone with, never mind. Should have gone with fast reaction. That would have helped out too. We'll get fast reaction next time. It's my fault for not looking at my tree. Let's go ahead and test ourselves in the fight club one more time.
In the fight club, you fight some guy in this bowling wire. In the fight club, in the fight club.
God, just bare knuckle brawling out behind a bar next to some trash cans, just kicking a guy in the chest over and over and over again. I wonder if he's got a silk shirt on right now. This is a lavish individual. He likes to get into bare knuckle fights with silk shirts on. Oh, I respect that. At first you would think it'd be kind of a waste, but to be honest, I respect the comfort. I have a silk shirt. I have one silk shirt that I've had for a long ass time, and I wear it to social functions all the time that are like, I don't know, business casual or whatever. It is a great shirt. Silk is so comfortable. I only have that one silk shirt though. You can't really wash it though. You can't really wash. There's some rules for like silk shirts, and I can't remember what they are because I haven't worn them in a long ass time. Man, he knocked himself out right there. He tried to kick us. We stepped out of the way, and then he like stubbed his toe on like an anthill, and he was like, ah! And then he fell over, and then all the fire ants were like, no! And he's like, no, my eye sockets! And then they were crawling all over him like those scarab things from the Mummy, but they weren't like digging into his body. They were mostly just biting him with their little ant stingers. I don't know. It's what it made me think of. I like my fatalities to be both fantastic and flamboyant. Don't judge me. Let's go ahead and stay on this agility game because we are definitely going to want to have like by the end of the game it's going to be in our best interest to probably have about 19-20 agility. That's what I in my strength build. I ended up with 14 strength, I think 19 agility and 5 stamina. And I was knocking people out in the first round within 2 or 3 punches every single time. It was pretty broken. I mean, I don't mind that, though, because you work the entire game to get to that point where you're broken. It's not like you're... I think there was definitely a shift period. So if you're trying to make strength builds, good luck to you. The beginning of the game is going to be gnarly. It's probably not going to be a lot of fun. But right around, I'd say, 50% of the way through the game, you're going to notice you start knocking people out really, really, really fast. And from then on, you usually either knock them out in the first round or not at all. Particularly dodgy enemies tend to be the ones that are the most annoying, so I tended to keep my agility at least equal to my strength when I was doing my strength build. But it's up to you. You know, run your build however you want, boo-boo. I won't judge you. Got the 12 agility right there. I do wish we had a few more machines. Like there's a pull-up bar and there's some other stuff you get later on in the game that allows you to work on agility like all day, every day. We don't have it right now, but it would be great to have. I wouldn't complain if we had it available. Do we have a fight today? Oh, we have 2 fights today. Okay, so apparently there are things to get done. Let's earn some money, Nerd Castle. We're up against Mr. Kakuse. I think we should be alright versus him so long as we don't get tapped. He's only got Thunderbolt, which is actually kind of a terrible ability. Oh, he's got Backhand Punch. Okay, he might hurt us. But if we can stay out of his way and we can just dodge the whole time, we'll probably be fine. There we go. And you know, this build is kind of double fold for our enemy because every single time they miss, they're losing a fat chunk of agility because at this point in the game, strength fighters don't have an ability. So strength fighters later on in the game, they get an ability that allows them to mitigate lost stamina from missed strikes. And they don't get that till very, very late in the... Oh, man. They don't get it till very, very late in the game. And so anyways, up until then, strength fighters tend to gas out very, very quickly. Once I had that ability, I didn't gas out very much anymore. And if I did gas out, it was from punching you in the head, and I had exhausting strikes, which makes you drain your stamina too. You know, he might win. This might be a close one. Either way, we're fighting the champion. I'm not really interested in going pro anyways, so it doesn't really... It's kind of such a wussy build, just like not being there when people try to punch you and then it like damages themselves. He's basically punching himself in the face over and over and over again. We're doing all kind of crazy like flow like water type thing. He's overextending his elbows and like messing himself up for life, herniating his discs. God. He's doing a pretty good job with that agility though. He's actually draining us out pretty good. Our energy doesn't normally get this low during the course of a fight. And so anyways, as an agility fighter, you just got to get used to the fact that you are going to knock people out fast. It's going to be a very, very long process. Actually, it looks like we're gonna, yeah, there it is. He knocked himself out with an 18 blow. Cool, we're the champion. We're up 47 points, so point spread wise, he's still beating us. We got 14 points for beating him because Mr. Kakuse is at the top of his league. We got $60 for winning because he's the champion, 60 happiness. A little bit of health loss, but we're doing really, really well in game right now. I'm gonna re-sign up for the next fight. I'm hoping, oh, they're gonna put us against Mr. Kakuse again. I was hoping we get Salvatore. It's not that big of a deal. We should be able to train and catch up. But that means there's definite things we have to like work on before this goes in. I'm going to eat some food first. I don't like getting woken up from my hibernation by a lack of food in my gut. Got $350. I'm just going to save the money on the weight bench and not worry about it. We lost that 12, huh? That's disappointing. I wish that we hadn't. Man, later on in the game, what you're going to do is you're just going to survive off energy drinks and coffee. But for right now, we're playing the never-ending energy loss game. I do think that the stat loss in this game is too high once you get to end game. It makes it unnecessarily grindy. I think they should probably reduce the stat loss by like 20 to 30%. Seems about the sweet spot. Maybe 40%. I mean, honestly, I'd get rid of the stat loss altogether, and then I just make gaining a level and a stat take 3 times as long. And so as the game went along, it would take you longer and longer and longer to get each point, but each point would affect more and more and more. Let's go ahead and see if we can get some mixed martial, or get some mixed training in going right now and get a couple of points of stamina so we don't lose that 6 as the day goes along. I may train stamina like all day. See if I can get a 7 maybe. Something to make us a little bit more resilient when we get hit. I kind of worry about that as an agility character. When we're getting tapped, we're getting thumped really, really good. Like, we're not going down very often, but when we get hit, we're getting hit really, really hard. And stamina is how you're going to mitigate that, by making your body a lot harder. We've got the agility taken care of. The 12 dropped. I can either do push-ups. It'd be better to train in the gym right now, I think. Oh, I forgot to do my Fight Club fight. Oh, man. I should have done that. Or my Ultimate League. Alright. Let's treadmill for a little bit. The treadmill is an absolutely fantastic piece of equipment. I think it gives you 32 stamina per tick. It's a really, really good piece of equipment. The only other one that works quite as well is the pull-up bar, which gives you a fat chunk of agility and a fat chunk of stamina every single time you do a pull-up. You get no strength from it, though, which was kind of an interesting choice for the developers. I do a lot of pull-ups, and I can definitely tell you, as strength training goes, it's a pretty good way to train your strength. It's just very, very specific strength training, so don't expect it to give you, like, a well-rounded, hardened body. It will, however, work the arms really, really well if you rotate the workout. It's like push-ups. It's kind of a multi-purpose exercise that can hit a lot of different muscle groups and do them all averagely well. Let's go ahead and push for that stamina raise. And if we can get ourselves a raise today, I'd feel really, really happy about our prospects. I'd like to keep stamina equal to agility, all things considered. I don't know if it's going to be possible for a while because it's difficult to keep stamina up given the training equipment that we have right now. It's a little bit rough. We have a fight today? Oh, okay. Well, we're going for the championship right now. Mr. Kakuse, prepare to get worked again. My bald friend. Actually, if we got beat by Mr. Kakuse, I wouldn't cry about it. It wouldn't upset me that much. There's 5 down. Start dealing a little damage here. Put some feet across him. I was going to say putting knuckles across him, but we're not really doing that, are we? We're putting tarsals across him. I don't know if what are your toes called? Like, you call them toes, but is that just like the standard term like fingers? Like you got phalanges for your fingers. What would you call your toes? Or do they count as phalanges too? I wouldn't know. I'm not one of those like nutritional health people. Or like a nurse or anything that would know. Ow! Yikes. It's a good thing we got that knockdown before the end of the round, because that actually could have gone badly for us had we not. That was a lucky thing to have happen. Alright. Come on, feed me a couple hits here. We needed our energy. If you're wondering why that would have been a bad thing, our energy was very, very low. If we had not scored that knockdown, he would have recovered at the end of the round using his stamina. At which point, we would have then been behind in the overall energy race, which, as you play the game, I've noticed that energy plays a very, very important facet of the gameplay. Like, if you're not using energy mitigation skills and you're not making it so it's very, very difficult for you to run out of energy, you're probably not running a lot of successful fights, because when you run out of energy, it's basically over for you, unless you have, like, Die Hard or some of the other abilities that allow you to recover a lot. 13 more skill points, and we are now the champion. I don't think anybody's going to talk to us about it, though. I would have liked to have leveled up a little bit longer. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's go ahead and we'll run increase the chance that your dodge will be successful, but slightly increases energy consumption. We'll do that one. That sounds good to me. Long timer is a good thing to run down on too if you're putting a lot of debuffs on your enemies. Long timer can be useful. We can go in the score league one more time. There's usually a hangover, so you can do one extra fight and earn an extra 60 bucks if you really, really want to. We can go into the ultimate league right now. We've got a lot of cash. I think we're... See, if you do it before it goes time to visit Mick, you're good. Congrats, champ. I've been waiting a long time for this, but unfortunately I can't give you your well-deserved reward. It's okay, Mick. I'll win the professional card in the playoff. That medallion will be mine. Oh, okay, so we got the playoff in 2 days. The basic way that this works is you just take cracks at it until you win. That's all that there is to it. And so it looks like our first lineup is against Draxon, who is the worst guy in the league. That's unfortunate. The easiest guy in the league is this guy right here. There's a couple of like middle range guys that are really, really easy to beat up. And then there's Bill Davis and there's Draxon. Those are the two that in general you kind of don't want to get. If you don't fight them now, you're always going to fight them at the championship, so at least you can get them out early. But I'd really prefer not to fight two guys with 14 plus strength in one tournament. It just increases the chances that I'm going to lose, and it increases my training regimen unnecessarily and forces me to kind of grind stats. We'll probably do drugs right before we fight him. I know that's kind of a shitty thing to say, but we'll probably do drugs before we fight him too, just to make our life a little bit easier. We got to stay on that fight club too, but the first thing I wanted to do is let's continue with our schedule fight. Oh no, it kicked us out. Okay. Let's go with our schedule fight. Lenny Moskovitz should not be a problem. He does have Boxer, though, and he is running some very, very high accuracy abilities. Namely, Boxing Punch plus Boxer means that he's probably going to make contact a couple of times. So anyways, we'll try to stay out of the way of it, but he's running some abilities right now that could definitely dish out some pain. And he's actually built in the way that I would build my strength character. I wouldn't run that 40% accuracy ability he's got. I'd probably run Clothesline, and I'd run Boxing Punch against an agility guy if I had low agility and he had high agility, and I just hope that we made contact with it, which he is making contact. He's giving us a couple little love thumps in there. Hopefully we can get a knockdown before the end. Oh, he got up quick, man. Alright, he had his Wheaties this morning. Knocking him down didn't matter. He's got the power of the bald man on his side. He's like, the power of the bald man coincides with my strength. He did like a little chant before the fight. May the powers of the baldness be copacetic to my fight strategy. Those are a lot of old monk chants that people don't know about. I don't talk about them very often because you got to be part of the secret order before you can use those chants, and I don't want people to know about it. But I'm just saying, now we're fighting Coitus.
Come on, Coitus. I'm gonna fight you.
8 damage right there. Ooh. Alright. They nerfed Agility's dodginess a little bit this week. So this agility build might be a little bit weird. I may have to vary up the strategy slightly in order to get it to work. I know that agility, they didn't catch a big nerf, but agility did get reworked and then toned down this week. So it's unfortunate for our build, but in the long run, I think it's better for the game because agility was kind of running rampant when the game first came out. So now that it's been a week or so and the developers have had a chance to kind of even things along, I feel like both strength and agility have a solid chance to win the game. I haven't played Turtle yet, but seeing as it's one of my favorite games, I'll probably do a Turtle build next. And I'll probably do the same thing we're doing right now with agility, but I'll probably put all the points into the way of the turtle tree instead of putting into the way of the tiger tree. That'll probably be the only difference. I'm really interested to sort of see how that's going to work out because I don't even know. You don't see a lot of turtle fighters in this game. So I'd love to put myself in a half shell and shout turtle power if I could. Another knockdown. And so that's another 150 bucks for us.
Making that moolah, rocking that guap.
Hopefully somebody will try and rob us. Nobody ever tries to rob me in this game anymore. I know people were sad because you always got robbed when you had money previously, but they nerfed it. Now you almost never get robbed. Let's go ahead and put in a whole bunch of fight time. We'll put in a little bit on the Wing Chun. We'll put in a little bit on the Speed Bag. And then from there, I think we'll be in a really, really solid position to go into the final. I'm going to do steroids before we go in there. It doesn't affect your gameplay at all. It doesn't change your ending. There's no... Hey. Sorry, my cat is knocking over my mic stand because he wants attention. He's a prima donna like that. He's a diva. You either give him attention or he destroys something. He basically holds you hostage until you do what he wants and then he breaks something. It's the story of my life. Constantly held hostage by the little guy. I'm actually going to do a little bit more strength. This 12 is going to start falling off quick style though, so it's a little unfortunate. I don't like that, but we're not going to have much of a choice here. Actually, it'd be cool if there was an item that cost maybe from the steroid guy that cost like 80 bucks or 100 bucks that allowed you to stop stat loss for a day. I think that would actually be a really, really good middle ground the developers could hit. The stat loss could stay the same, but the steroid guy for 100 bucks would sell you a thing that makes it so you have no stat loss for the day, or it picks one stat randomly to not fall. Just something like that, and then you can drink it 3 times to guarantee you don't lose anything. I say that because later on in the game, you have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, and there's nothing to spend them on. You just keep getting richer and richer and richer. We're out of time for the day. I just looked at the clock. So my name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Punch Club, a game that is I'm fond of it. I like this game a lot. For whatever reason, it's a simple game, but I find myself having a blast with it, and so I'm very, very thankful the developers decided to release it to the public and to allow me to make video game series of it. I will see you all in the next episode. Hi do, everybody.